Hello guys, as I promised earlier, I was going to show you how I set up my helicopter so that 6G mode works properly. As all of you know, um, well, most of you who have been following some of my posts, I've had very big problems with 6G. The mind of its own thing caused my helicopter to have quite a few crashes, which resulted in some serious servo play. Well, not serious, but for me it is. So, here is how my setup actually looks. Okay. Um, this is my light, which I've been talking about, which I've soldered. I don't know if you guys can see how I've done it. Um, I've basically soldered it directly into the where it says B minus and B plus, directly on the rods, so that it doesn't move inside. Okay, then the next thing which you should pay attention to is the foam. Okay, like I said, this foam here I've taken from the helicopter box, and as you can see, I've cut it out just a tiny little bit bigger, so that when and if the canopy touches it, it absorbs very little bit of the vibrations. The real thing though is to get 6G working, okay, is first you take off your landing skids, alright, which is pretty simple, straightforward stuff, okay. Um, so here it goes. You take off the landing skids, okay, and then you disconnect the motor, okay, and that's how you place the elastic. Now note this elastic, okay. I've been playing around with many different types of elastics, and this is the only one which actually seems to be doing really fine and okay. So here's the real thing. Now, note if you use this elastic, and this elastic mustn't be too tight because then vibrations still get passed through. So you must make sure that this elastic is actually, not very, very tight. Also, after you've done all these things, placed the right foam or just any foam, but I'd prefer using this one. And you place the elastic, make sure that it's not very, very close or very far from the motor. Okay, if it's too close to the motor, then you get some disturbances, and that's not good. 6G disturbances, I mean, because I'm not actually sure why, but it just happens. Alright, then also note that this board mustn't be placed too far forward, because that's when it really touches the canopy. I mean, you guys can see my canopy on the inside, alright. There is marks, actually. You can see the marks where the canopy has been touching, which actually proves that it touches there and vibrates. So, and I mean, vibrations get passed through. So what I've done is, alright, I've made sure that after some time, this elastic actually presses down the board. So when the board sits lower down, okay, then when you put the canopy on, it actually needs to go a bit more up to touch it. So even if you place it more forward, if it's enough down, it won't touch. But that's the most important thing, okay, is for this board not to be vibrating, and that's it, basically. So now don't forget, after you do this, okay, after you put the elastic and you make sure that you've put your skid back on and everything seems to work perfectly, you should actually test your heli very well before flying it. And by test, I mean you should set it to low pitch. In other words, set pitch to 0, maybe even 1-2 clicks below 0, okay? and then that you're doing that so that you can check how your heli behaves on high RPM, high head speed, before it actually lifts off the ground. So then you'll be able to see that the helicopter is still on the ground, spinning very fast, basically the same way it would spin when it's in the air, and it's stable in 6G, obviously, no vibrations and stuff. So I'm gonna show you what I mean, okay, with this setup now. Alright, I don't know if I'll be able to get the angle right, but let's see. Probably won't be able to, but this board now on the inside, it just barely touches the, I don't know how to be, it barely touches the canopy on the inside. It's fine if it actually does touch it, as long as that insulation is there. So what I'm going to do now is quickly show you guys a spool-up test of how this whole thing actually works. Okay, so this is for the setup. Alright, now I'm going to use my light battery because I have different weight batteries. Alright, and we'll see how my heli behaves. Alright, I'm going to do my test just in my sitting room. This is a test where you guys will be able to see how the heli flies. Or actually, I'll do another video for that.